shifting your emotional state from a negative to a more positive state. Why sometimes it doesn't work, and what can you do about it? So, during the day, we all experience the whole spectrum of negative emotions, whether we like it or not, and due to different triggers. And although we would rather be feeling on top of the world 100% of the time, and that is totally okay to have that desire, but sometimes, most of the time, this is not the case. And due to different triggers, we experience the so unwanted negative emotions. And I think that by now, each one of us, we have our own set of tools that we usually use to help ourselves shift out of a negative emotional state into a more positive one. And so we will find ourselves going for journaling, meditating, going out in nature, dancing maybe, the whole set of tools that we have each developed to shift ourselves into a more positive emotional state. But sometimes that doesn't work. And so we find ourselves sometimes at this place where we're like, I'm experiencing annoying emotions. I'm maybe angry, worried, disappointed maybe. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that. I need to be feeling on top of the world because, one, I got work to do. I have a deadline that I have to meet. Maybe I have a session with a client. I got people to, my loved ones to tend to and to take care of. And so this negative emotional state is not going to help me. And so I don't want to be there. I'd rather be feeling better. And so we practice our own techniques, and sometimes that does not work. Physiologically, inside of the body, every emotion equals a certain chemical. And although your body can physiologically create that shift in terms of chemicals released in the bloodstream in a split second, and this is what usually happens, let's say in fight or flight mode, the stressor shows up, and then like right away we get into the fight or flight mode. Cortisol is released in the bloodstream, adrenaline, and so we're reacting right on the spot. That this happens because of the chemicals that are released in the bloodstream, all 1,400 of those. And while this is, like I said, this is a super fast process, and the thing is, when you are creating that shift from the negative emotional state to the positive emotional state, it is not only your desire that is at play in that process. There are a lot of other things that are happening, a lot of other things that are also affecting that process of shifting your emotional state. These are happening really unconsciously. And for example, let's say I want to come on this live, or I want to come on as show up for a session with a client, and I'm feeling drained, exhausted, I'm tired, and then I'm like, I want to shift right away, I want to shift right now. And so I start doing what I'm supposed to do, and in that process I am introducing feelings that are really not helping. In my resistance to the negative emotions, I am adding negative emotions to the process of removing negative emotions. I know it sounds like counterintuitive, but it's truly like you're cleaning a dirty, you're cleaning a glass with a dirty cloth. And so you keep on wiping and wiping and wiping, and it's not getting clean because the process of cleaning in itself is introducing more negative emotions. Again, it is your resistance to these negative emotions, your unacceptance, your judgment to these negative emotions is introducing other negative emotions unconsciously. Plus, your inner critic may be at play, your limiting beliefs as well. And all of these are adding to the severity of the negative emotions. I want you to imagine the scale of all the emotions as like a staircase, where the lower steps are the most negative ones, and as we go up, it gets more onto the positive, more onto the positive emotions. And so, Instagram should allow me, I think, to add a photo. That's what I have been told, and that I should be able to add some kind of photo here because I wanted to show you this emotional scale, how it looks like. Looks like no, not on my phone. Okay, the thing is that the emotional scale is a staircase of the whole spectrum of emotions. Imagine that the negative ones are at the base of that staircase, and as we go up, it gets less negative and more positive till we get to the upper ones at the top are the most positive ones. And sometimes we're like feeling let's say sadness or despair, and we want to like right away get into joy or excitement, and that it doesn't happen that way. If we are able to move, for example, from sadness to anger, this is progress. If we're able to move from worry to neutral, not feeling on top of the world, but also not feeling that we're worried, then that is progress as well. So take that into consideration. Don't expect yourself to shift from a deeply negative emotion such as despair, sadness, right away into feeling on top of the world. Because that desire itself will introduce resistance, which in turn will introduce more negative emotions that you will have to deal with. This is what you don't want when you are trying to process negative emotions. And yes, sometimes we would rather be feeling joy and excitement to do our work, but sometimes we need to show up regardless. Like for me in my work, if I can get myself into feeling neutral or just at ease, then that would be enough for me to show up for my clients. And so let go of the idea or the need to shift from a very negative emotion to the highest of the positive emotions. Being at ease is just okay. Feeling neutral is also good. And so when we are doing our practices like the meditation, the journaling, whatever practice we do to improve our emotional state, let there be no resistance. Offer yourself complete acceptance of the way that you're feeling, because it's totally normal given the stressor that created it. Number one. Number two, allow that feeling to be felt. Just as you allow yourself to feel the positive emotion and you bask in that emotion and you milk it to the maximum. I'm not saying like totally engage in the negative emotion and feed it. Don't feed it. But stand in witness of that emotion. Allow it to be felt. And tell yourself it's totally okay to feel that way. And be present with the emotion itself, wherever you feel it in your body. Just be in witness with that emotion with 100% acceptance, zero judgment, and zero resistance. Just that process will contribute positively to the shift, because you're not introducing any type of resistance to the process of creating the shift, and you're slowly helping your physiology even to go back to its normal state of well-being and feeling good, or feeling at ease, feeling at peace. So sometimes that negative emotion, it just wants to be felt. Just allow it to be. Breathe slowly and deeply into that place where you're experiencing that negative emotion. Don't engage your mind into it. Even if your inner critic starts talking to you, your limiting beliefs, if they are also acting up as well, just softly and smoothly shift your focus back to where you are experiencing that feeling, or just to your heart, and just breathe slowly and deeply. From that place, if you're able to shift fear into managed concern, that is a big progress. Because at that point, you still have part of that negative emotion, but you're helping the brain not to get too caught up into the drama of the fear, for example, in that case. And from that place, you could still show up for your business. You could still show up for your client. You could still show up for the people that you care for, the people that you need to serve, the people that you need to take care of. And also, if you stay at that place, slowly the negative emotion will start dissipating. You'll be able to better listen to the message behind that feeling, and learn a new thing about yourself. Learn a new thing about that trigger, and maybe you can once and for all heal it. Thanks everyone for joining me. Susie, thank you. Serene, thanks a lot. Funny enough that I needed to hear this part. I'm glad this resonates, Susie. I'm glad this helps. So again, don't introduce resistance into the process of shifting your emotional state from negative to positive. Allow yourself to just feel that negative emotions, because to your body, there's nothing wrong with that emotion. It's not wrong. To your body, it equals a chemical, just as the positive emotion. But I know that we have that desire to feel positive all the time, and we have all the right to have that desire. But it should not stand in the way of us making that shift in terms of introducing resistance. And so this is one of the things that you can consciously do. It requires a lot of awareness on your part, and being conscious of all that is going on here and here. And just being in witness of that negative emotion so that you can create the shift. Be okay with creating a small shift. Be okay with creating a shift from a negative emotion to a less negative one. That's totally okay. And then keep on going till you create the greater shift that you want. Just don't burden yourself with the expectation of or like the obligation of having to move from a very negative emotion to the most positive of them, because it won't happen. It doesn't happen like that. Okay? If anyone is able to do that, then that's great. Please let us know how you do it. But yeah, it takes progress, slowly sometimes, and that's totally okay. If you have any questions about what I shared with you in this video, please don't hesitate to ask. I want to also remind you that I'm offering free breakthrough sessions to women who are dealing with a certain issue, who want to learn about emotional resilience techniques or feminine energy techniques. It's a free session, 60 minutes, where we could address a certain issue that she's dealing with and she wants help and support with, or if she wants to learn an emotional resilience technique that is also relatable to her life, you know, something that would support her in whatever she is doing. Thank you everyone who joined on this live, and I will be sharing this on my profile so you can go back to watching it again. Thanks everyone. Bye.